Dear students, in our next lecture on semiconductor devices, today we are going to study a BJT or a bijunction transistor. As all of you know, a PN junction diode has only one junction, whereas scientists kept on imagining that if we construct a three-layer device where one type of semiconductor is sandwiched between the two types of semiconductors, it gives rise to a two junction device. So that gives rise to what is called as a transistor. Now what is a transistor? A transistor is a three layered, you see this NPN transistor, three layered two junction three terminal device. Why three layers? There is one type of semiconductor sandwiched between the two other types of semiconductors. Suppose this is an NPN transistor. It means that the P type of semiconductor is sandwiched between two N-type layers. Now this is a three-layered device. Then the junction for the N-type and P-type, here we have the first junction, and the second for the P-type and N-type we have the second junction. So these are two junctions. So this is a three-layered two junction bijunction three terminal device. Now what are the three terminals? The first terminal here is called as the emitter terminal, this terminal is called as the base, and this terminal is called as the collector. Now we say that this type of junction where the emitter and the base are fused together, that junction is called as EB junction, or we call it emitter to base junction. The second junction between the collector and the base is called as the collector to base junction. The transistor can be of the different type also. If we have an NPN, we have a PNP type of transistor also, and here in that type the N type is sandwiched between two P layers. So this is the schematic symbol of the NPN transistor and the PNP transistor. We see the three terminals. Basically we have here the collector, see the base and the emitter. Now in case of NPN transistor, always the emitter is represented by an arrow outwards, and for a PNP transistor the emitter is represented by an arrow inwards. So this is the symbol of NPN transistor and this is the symbol of a PNP transistor. Now we are going to call this as a BJT or bijunction transistor. We are going to study the action of a transistor. Usually this is the circuit which shows you the action of a transistor. Basically the collector, the base and the emitter, these three are doped, and the level of doping is that the base here is very lightly doped, the collector is moderately doped, and the emitter is maximum doped. While studying the transistor action, whether it is an NPN transistor or whether it is a PNP transistor, always the first junction, that is emitter to base junction, is forward biased, and the second junction, collector to base junction, is reverse biased. Now in this type of NPN transistor we see that this is the N type. So it is forward biased, means the N type is given to negative polarity of the cell and the P type is given to positive of the polarity of the cell. And here we see this is reverse biased, the N type is given to positive polarity or positive terminal of the battery, and here we have the P given to negative terminal of the battery. Now these supplies are called as VBB and VCC. Now let us see how the transistor works. See, the emitter is heavily doped, therefore in this case of a transistor the emitter contains a large number of electrons. Similarly, let us suppose that electrons enter this junction from the power supply. Suppose 100 electrons enter here inside the N type of semiconductor in the transistor. Now because of the forward biasing, here the base which is having an opposite polarity, it will pull the electrons from this side, but the base is very lightly doped, so that suppose 100 electrons are there in the emitter. Out of these, only 5 electrons recombine with the holes in the base, and they constitute a current which is called as base current IB. Okay, now this current, the electrons flow in this direction, therefore the current is in the reverse direction. This constitutes a current which is called as the emitter current. So out of the 100 electrons, 5 electrons recombine with the holes, and the remaining 95% electrons are pulled across the collector to base junction because of the heavily biased collector junction, and this gives rise to a high current which is called as the collector current. Okay, so this is the action of the transistor. Now there are certain parameters here. We have a current parameter, and these are current ratios. So we have alpha DC. It is defined as the ratio of the collector current to the emitter current. Alpha DC is equal to IC upon IE. And we have beta DC, which is the beta current gain. It is defined as the ratio of collector current to the base current. So beta DC is equal to IC by IB. From the equation we have IE is equal to IB plus IC. So IE upon IC is equal to IB upon IC plus 1. 1 upon alpha DC is equal to 1 upon beta DC plus 1. Alpha DC is equal to beta DC plus 1 upon beta DC, and beta DC is equal to alpha DC upon 1 minus alpha DC. So that is the action of a transistor, and that is the beta current gain and alpha current gain. Now in our next part of the transistor, we are going to study the characteristics of the transistor in a common emitter mode. Basically there are 3 modes for the configuration of transistor. Out of that, which terminal is grounded, that terminal or that configuration is called as that particular configuration. Suppose the emitter is grounded, we call it as a common emitter mode configuration. If the base is grounded, we call it as a common base configuration, and if the emitter and the collector is grounded, we call it as a common collector combination. Usually we use the transistor, NPN transistor, in the common emitter mode. Now you see here that this emitter is grounded. Okay, there are 2 power supplies, VBB and VCC given here. For the measurement of VBB, we have the voltmeter VBC. A rheostat is connected. To measure the value of base current, we have the IB here. Now, it should be known that VBE is measured in volts. IB, the minority current, is very, very small and measured in microamperes, whereas the output current, which is always called as the collector current, is measured in milliamperes. Also, the biasing given to the reverse biasing given to the collector to emitter mode, that is VCC, it is measured by this voltmeter VCE. To study the characteristics of the transistor, we divide the transistor into 2 parts, one in the input part and other in the output part. We have given 2 supplies. So in order to study the input characteristics, we have to keep output constant, and to study the output characteristics, we have to study the input. We have to keep the input constant. Now first we are going to study the input characteristics. Now what is input characteristic? It is a graph of input current versus input voltage. For common emitter mode, it is the graph of base current versus base voltage when output VCE is kept constant. Suppose VCE is kept 10 volt, then the VBE is increased in steps of 1 volt, 2 volt, 3 volt and so on, and the corresponding base current in microamperes is noted, and we draw the graph after every stages of values of VCE keeping constant 10 volt, 12 volt and measuring VBE versus IE. The graph appears like this somewhat. It is the regular graph like a diode. So this is the input characteristic graph. We see that this IB here it varies from 10 microamperes to say somewhere 60 microamperes. The first step where we keep VCE equal to 10 volt, we go on giving VBE in steps of 0.2, 0.4 and so on, and we get this particular graph like a usual PN junction diode. Second step, keeping VC equal to 12 volt, we get this particular nature of the graph. So here we have Ri, the ratio of VBE, delta VBE to delta IB at VC constant. This is the dynamic input resistance of the transistor. In order to study the output characteristics, we keep the input constant, and this is the typical graph of the output characteristics of the diode. So keeping IB constant, the input, we keep IB say equal to 0 microamperes here, 0 microamperes, and we go on increasing the VCE. We observe that IC almost is equal to 0. So this region where IC is 0, this region of the transistor is called as the cutoff region, because there is no action of the transistor. Okay, now let us increase IB in steps of 10 microamperes. Here in this part we see a sharp linear rise as VCE increases, IC also increases, the output current also increases, and after a specific value it remains constant. Next, when IB equal to 20 microamperes, here also we get this linear rise. For every step or every rise in IB, we observe that this part gives you a linear variation between IC and VCE. As VCE increases, IC also increases. So this region is called as the active region of the transistor. And here, where the current remains constant for a specific value of IB, the current is almost constant. We call this region as the saturation region. So the output characteristics are divided into three parts: the cutoff region, the active region and the saturation region. So no doubt whether the transistor is in an active mode or cutoff mode or saturation mode, the most important part where the transistor is used is the active region of the transistor, where the output IC goes on increasing. Let us describe this graph. So from the output characteristics, it is clear that when IB equal to 0, IC is nearly 0, and we say that the transistor is in the cutoff region. For VCE less than 0.3 volt, IC increases with VCE and can be controlled by VCE. When VCE is greater than VBE, say 0.7 volt, the common emitter junction gets reverse biased, IC gets saturated. IC does not depend on VCE but can be controlled by IB, and we say that the transistor is in the active region. It has a large current gain in this region. When VCE is less than 0.2 volt, both junctions get forward biased and IC no longer can be controlled by IB, and the relation between IC and IB gets lost. The ratio of delta VCE to delta IC gives us the dynamic output resistance of the transistor. In our next discussion, we shall be studying how the transistor is used as a amplifier, common emitter amplifier.